Yo, you guys repost. Got starting a little late. I have to get my smoke fix. Dude, I've got the World Series of Poker FOMO so freaking bad. Shout out to my boy Mike the Mouth, crushing it in the 10,000 horse. Let's go, Mikey. All right, let's get some people in here. Start with the panel. Gave him a hard time last time. He's earning his keep, though. Let's bring in the consigliere, Jay Pizzle.
Shake your money maker like somebody want to pay you. I see you on my radar, don't you like you afraid of?
You know I got it. If you wanna come get it, stand next to this money like hey.
Shake your money maker like somebody want to pay you. Don't worry about them haters, kicking those up in the air.
You know I got it. If you wanna come get it, stand next.
All rise.
What's up, Dustin? What a crazy time to be alive.
Dude, good to see you, bro.
Me too.
Can I just say, how good Augustus did capturing the douchebagginess of the judge in your video?
I deal with a lot of douchebag judges too.
Right?
They're so awful.
Just so on point.
They are the ultimate bureaucrats, man. It's like they're lazy. That you being there in their courtroom is a bother to them. It's disgusting sometimes.
We need to rein them motherfuckers in.
That's right, baby. And the judicial coup.
Dude, they're out of control right now. Out of control. Unlike our man, OG Brooklyn, who is always calm and always on point.
Yeah, right.
Remember rapping you, the hard, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight, time to get paid, blow up like the world. Remember rapping you, the hard, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight, time to get paid, blow up like the world. I'm blowing up like you thought I would, call a clip, same number, same hood, it's all good. I'm blowing up like you thought I would, call a clip, same number, same hood, it's all good. I'm blowing up like you thought I would, call a clip, same number, same hood, it's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch screen, money green, leather sofa. Got 2 rides, a limousine with the show.
Yo, what up, boys? How we doing? Happy Thursday. What's going on? How we
What's up,
doing?
OG?
All right. Listen, we got so much crazy fucking conspiracy shit to dive into tonight. So we bringing in producer Cheney.
Hell yeah.
Show off my diamonds like I'm signed by the rock. Ain't pushing out his baby's telly by the rock. Hey yo, I been on, bitch you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. I mean I been on, X-Men been on. He keep on dialing Nicky, like nigga big Nick on.
Big up yourself.
Yeah, there she is. Let's freaking go. Do we have anybody else in the queue for the start of the panel? I know we got more coming.
Man, I'm on the block, dodging death freeze. Fed snitch, quick traded souls for tech. Probes in the ends, leave verb direct. Parliaments are fast, there's the next get checked. Beat me up, fam, I'm the cosmic threat. Sources overhead, dropping green slime. Govs on their knees, it's abduction time.
Oh, hey, good looking.
Jenny from the block.
And we
Hey
got Kim
guys,
Dizzle.
how's it going?
And Kim.
I get to
Hi,
ride in on Jen's intro.
I like that. That's good. It's a duo.
Well, listen, we're gonna have to expand out our VO3 and I hate to break it to you, OG, but we're shortening your 8-minute intro video.
Wow.
Gotta happen,
Like
bro.
that. You know
I gotta
what?
say,
I
JP
took
video.
Virus's time. Listen, breaking news. Also, Virus is on a plane to China. He's going to battle the Asians, so they stopped fucking with his market. That's what he told me.
I thought you were serious to start with.
Dude, I can't wait to make I have an idea for a Virus intro video, the little Chinese
Yes.
dolls chasing him everywhere, poking him with sticks.
I like that.
Throwing tokens at him.
Yeah. All right, listen. It's World War III. Well, maybe Trump maybe kind of sort of paused it again. Although not gonna lie, I would, if I was the Iranians, I might find it a little difficult to buy the current state of pause. Just based on where things were at when everything blew up. But man, I guess we'll start. Did you guys see the Tucker Ted Cruz interview?
pieces of it, the bad pieces.
I
can't watch
watched
the whole
it. I
thing. I
could
can't.
not. I couldn't handle it. It was bad.
I can't watch the whole thing.
Bro, Tucker Carlson obliterated Ted Cruz. Like even the pro-Israel people I know were like, can we not have Ted go out and represent us anymore, please? Like that was not good. It was not freaking good. It does bring up some like interesting conspiracy stuff to the Schofield Bible, right? Like so the first exchange that got put out was Ted Cruz not knowing the population of Iran. I'd like to point out that Tucker gave him an out. Like, if you listen closely, Tucker asked him, do you know what the population is? Cruz says no. He goes, do you know like a range? Like, can you give us just a ballpark figure of how many people live in fucking Iran? And Ted Cruz like doubles down as being like, fucking no. Like, not good. Right? Like, regime change kind of matters how big the country is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it does really kind of matter how many people. So that was the first clip. And then
What was the number?
92 million.
That's a good number.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Iran. There's 17 million people in Tehran by itself. Then Ted really fucks up, right? This is all in the first like 2-minute clip that they put out, right? So first he can't tell you how many people are in Iran. And then this motherfucker it's like, oh yeah, when we bombed Iran, I mean, we didn't bomb Iran. I mean, we supported Israel. I mean, Israel bombed Iran all by itself.
It was sloppy. It was nuts. Ted Cruz is one of those guys where I am aligned with most of his politics, but he just comes off as just such a doucher.
Not good people.
His every statement is like this very just calculated, almost like he's in a debate competition.
He
style
talks in
statement.
circles and never answers the question.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, he's going to be my senator soon, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, first you got to get rid of John Cornyn. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Paxton's, I guess, slightly better, but you know.
Texas is a disaster.
I mean, there's plenty of issues there, without a doubt. But that's only in the first 2-minute Cruz. So then we get the full interview, and dude, Cruz is racking up L's at like a record pace, bro. So he got ratioed by some like rando like 800 follower account.
Did Ted Cruz's dad take out Kennedy? The lore survives. The lore survives. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, no. So, well, me and Jen may participate in the political dark arts now and again. And may have been in a room where the idea of like blaming Ted Cruz's dad for assassinating Kennedy like may have been proposed, and a certain troll president may have put that out to the world.
Ted Cruz had to then answer during a debate, no, my dad did not kill Kennedy.
That's crazy. Think about it, though. Ted Cruz is in the first year of a new term, though. So, 6 years is a long time.
Everybody knows it was Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey's dad.
But so the other thing, though, that I think is like a really interesting conversation is, so then Ted Cruz is getting it into Tucker with about like why he supports bombing Iran. And his first reason is that the Bible instructs him that those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've made that point on this podcast before. I was raised in a country church, and we went to Sunday school, and you were taught that you support God's chosen people. It was just part of the dogma.
So, bro, you realize that like you support deporting Jesus. There are men named Jesus that we are deporting, and right, the Bible also says he is the way and the truth. And here you are sending him back to Mexico.
It
He didn't
doesn't
even know
count.
where it said that in the Bible.
Well, so right, it is in Genesis, and that there is like God is talking to Abraham. No, I'm gonna screw it up. Jen or Kim, I'm sure you guys like are better. I want Ted Cruz.
I was gonna
myself
be
here.
impressed.
Yeah, don't
It's
say Cruz
Genesis
yourself.
6:2.
Right now.
I got
Was
my
it
Bible.
Noah?
I'm new to biblical lore, so I just know that I knew it was in Genesis, but I don't know where it is in Genesis. But I also don't stand on it. So
Well, it's God's promise to Abraham. That's what it was.
That's
It was
what I
All
thought.
I know is my
Yeah.
dad made me go to the Christians for Jews events with Pastor Hagee. Okay, so I'm leaving it there.
So,
Yeah,
so but
Pastor
but
Hagee.
here's the thing: there is
Jen's unfolding her trauma.
there is a passage. It's kind of hard to argue that the country that is Israel now is the same thing that God was talking about, before Christ in the Old Testament. Like that is right. It's significantly different now than it was then, right? Like the country was only refounded 70 years ago.
Well, my thing is
1948?
that it's in the Old Testament. Okay, what makes us different as Christians from Jews is that we believe in the New Testament, right? And because the God of the Old Testament is different than the God, not different person, but like how it's handled is different than it is in the Old Testament. That's why we believe in the New Testament, right? So, like, where in the New Testament does it say this? Like,
Well, there are several references to things that also could seem to fit current events. About in Revelation, there's a very interesting passage about people who claim to be Israel and are really the synagogue of Satan. That's an interesting verse that you don't often see brought up.
Doesn't it
well,
also
the
talk
reason it's
about?
not.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the reason it's not brought up is because if you look it up, right, like it all of a sudden goes to all this Nazism, right? And that like if you talk about that, like you automatically are a Nazi, you're looking up Nazi shit. And I'm like, well, no, I'm just wondering, because if it says in the Bible, like all the words in this book, I believe. So like what's going on with this passage, and why are you telling me if I look it up, I'm all of a sudden like a racist?
So we've been psyoped into only certain parts of the Bible are allowed to be passable, and we're only going to cherry pick shit out of the Old Testament, not the New.
I mean, this has been my issue. What Ted Cruz did the other day when he couldn't say where in the Bible it said that, it sent me on a little research tangent. And I'm still going.
I think too, it's a misnomer that the Jewish Bible is the Old Testament. I think they share a couple of the same books, but other than that, theirs is considered sacred text just to them, and we have this like Christian whitewash of some of the same stories, but it's not the same book at all. I think
like
that's a big
there's 5
misnomer.
Bibles. It's Genesis. Here, I got my Bible right here.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy.
Yep.
Good job.
I just for me, I have a little trouble again. And this was, I saw Ted Cruz get ratioed, so it's not an original Dustin argument. That's hilarious. But the whole Jesus thing, right? So like everyone my name is Jesus. The Bible says that Jesus is the way and the light and the only way to salvation. Like fucking worship me, bitch. Like kind of right. Like if let's say, for example, instead of naming Retard Ranch, we name it Israel. And at the center of Retard Ranch / Israel is fucking Jerusalem, which is like the water well or the fucking man cave or whatever we call it.
Well, there is a Palestine in Texas, so you could put them right next to each other.
And then we could go to war.
And then maybe you could just get a whole bunch of money donated to you all the time to keep feuding with your neighbor.
Yeah, but see, this is what bothers me, right? So another part that I recently found out that really bothers me is like the dogwood thing, right? Like they're like, oh, the ark was made out of dogwood. Oh, okay, well, where does dogwood grow?
Go
Oh,
for wood.
Gopher
Go
wood.
for wood.
Florida. Okay, so did Noah like take a boat, come over, grab some logs, and like go back to the Holy Land? And then if you start looking up the Holy Land in America, all of a sudden you're into the Black Israelites and that whole thing. And I'm like, so do we just ignore the fact that there's like stuff that clearly points to other things? But like if you look at it, you're like considered a racist all of a sudden? Like,
Well, so I'm not gonna lie, I tripped out a little. I probably shouldn't even admit this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I personally believe that Sodom and or Gomorrah is in the United States Southwest. So like if you go cruise around Death Valley, aptly named Death Valley, and you like look, it does not look like natural geographic formations.
Jen touched on this on the night that you missed.
Right. So it looks like these things have been melted from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually like lots of old articles about people falling in, and Jen and I have like spent a lot of time exploring this particular area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking about the raising of the third temple. Like if we get into like some prophecy stuff. And I'm like, dude, what if I'm not supposed to build the great fucking library? Like what if the great library ends up being the third temple? That would be less than ideal.
Wow.
You're like, well, shit.
Like, yeah, I'm not really down to sign up to be the builder of the third temple. Like that.
no, that's like when people come at me and they're like, yo, Donald Trump is fulfilling Antichrist prophecy. I'm like, don't even talk to me about this. I don't even want to know about it. Nope.
Right. But
Not going.
my
It's
problem
Obama.
is obviously the Israel of 2,000 years ago is not 2,000 years ago.
Gopher
And
wood. Yes, thank you. Not dogwood. Gopher wood.
Gopher wood. Yeah.
and all covenants of the old Bible were fulfilled with the with the birth and resurrection of Christ.
I have a take on this from being a pastor's son. There has been teachings on this that I've listened to on the support of Israel. The Old Testament
JP
was
was a pastor's son.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, I know. Right? The Old Testament, everything culminated with the death and resurrection of Jesus. Okay. If you look through the whole history of the Old Testament, even when Israel was worshiping false gods, even when they were in complete rejection of the God of Israel, they still remained blessed. They still remained protected. God kept his promise. When Jesus died, that blood was shed. Okay. And that blood, which was reminiscent from Egypt when they put the blood on the door, if you had the blood, we don't care who's in the house. If you're covered in the blood, you are protected, you promise. So the description of what does Israel mean as far as in the Old Testament being blessed and protected, and if you'll be blessed if you support them, is that, and this is a take, this is not necessarily, I'm not teaching doctrine here, but that promise and blessing transferred to those who were covered in the blood, that became the new Israel, that it was basically the church of Jesus after the resurrection. That was the take that I heard. I think it has logic to it, and I do think I subscribe.
So my argument would be, yeah, I'm maybe just spitballing a little here. Right? Which country seems to be more blessed to you in the eyes of the Lord? Israel, who is constantly in a state of agitation and fuckery, or Big Daddy United States, who brings freedom to everybody all over the world? Like,
Well,
which country seems to have God?
Well, we talked about last week. We talked about Utah and how beautiful it is. And there's this girl on TikTok, and she maps like the biblical Israel, all of the landmarks, and lines up perfectly with the most beautiful land formations in Utah. So it's crazy.
If you have not been to Zion, interesting, aptly named park in the Utah desert. Again, the American Southwest is a trip when you really start going to like cruise around it. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like the official story is so like Death Valley has the highest recorded temperature, although I'm still very suspect about that. Like it just does not.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be around the equator in Africa?
I don't know. I remember like my like much higher recorded temperatures being told to me about Iraq and other shit.
Yeah, but are you looking at this? This is the girl who lines up both of the freaking things in Utah versus Israel. Okay, and if you like, look at this: Great Salt Lake, Dead Sea. Then you bring it down, and then there's also, where did it go? Jordan River. It lines up exactly.
That's crazy. I never saw those maps before.
Even the city of David and the gates.
Yep.
And so what she does is she'll like flash a picture of the gates in Utah, and I mean beautiful rock formations, and then she flashes a picture of the gates in Israel, and it's like a doorway with like a concrete, really uneven stones. It's not, yeah.
It's a trip. Well, give people if they want to go look at all that stuff. Like, where do they go to see more?
I have no idea what they were looking at on TikTok. I just put in Utah is Israel into
we'll
my
find out
favorite
her name.
search engine, which does pay for us to plug them.
No,
Google.
it's literally like it's trippy. It's absolutely trippy. And if you think about like the Great Salt Lake, how it's like it's salt, it's dead, just like the Dead Sea in Israel.
Yeah. It's crazy, the parallels.
No, like I said, Sodom and Gomorrah being Death Valley and right, like
Well, and all of the ancient Egyptian artifacts that they've found in the Grand Canyon, and how like the Grand Canyon like is roped off by our military. Like, what are you hiding?
Yeah, right.
now that there are incredibly remote parts of the Grand Canyon that I gotta fix my
Dude, one of the most amazing things I ever did was take a helicopter ride over and through the Grand Canyon. And I had like he must have been like an old military, like helicopter pilot. And he would like come like from the top. He'd like bring you in low, like just over the ground. And then you'd go over the edge and he would just do like a straight down, like you're heading right to the river. And then he would pull up. Like it was insane. If you ever get to do the helicopter tour in Vegas, you should try it.
Mississippi is the Nile. So if you line up the Nile and the Mississippi, there's literally Memphis, Thebes, all of the cities are exactly the same.
Well, listen, somebody was busting our chops in the chat, and I appreciate. Dude, chat's going crazy. Cheney must have shared it.
Yeah,
Cheney
tried,
brings
right?
the chatterbox. Like
Project Cheney is the best chat room on the internet. Like on the internet, smartest, most well-rounded group of rad people. So shout out to the Project Cheney chat.
Yeah, dude, they always hold it down for us. Like
it's an eclectic crew too. You got a lot of different like people have different vibes to them, like different expertise and things.
Right, but somebody's busting my chop. Like, oh shit, here we go. We're going fucking Mormon.
Mormon.
We do a lot of Mormon on the show, and we have a shout out to Heidi Love and Zertis. They're two people that get really heavy into that. There potentially could be a lot more proofs to Mormonism being the true Christianity than anything they try to sell us out of the Middle East. And it's so interesting how all of the lore really fits in. All of the storyline really fits into Mormonism, where in a way it doesn't so much with the Christian Bible. And so a lot of my audience is so into Mormon conversation.
What's interesting is that like I have a very my family were among the first Mormons that like came across the country. My grandpa was a bishop, like a big regional bishop, I guess. I don't know. My dad's the one who left the church. And because I've never been really involved in the church, when I first started getting like popular, like Tea Party, they put me on their like most wanted to recruit list. They have I'm not even fucking joking. They have a list of like, these are people that we want to like convert to Mormonism.
It's a
And
draft list.
dude, they seriously, they put like a team of those like little dudes who call themselves elders in like funny little suits to like chase you around.
Yeah.
And I parlayed that into some shit, right? Like, you guys know how I am. Like, oh, you want to recruit me? Gosh, show me what you're working with.
Show me the secret sauce, baby.
And I was really crazy into like prepping at that point in my life. Right? Like that was when I was as deep down the prepping rabbit hole as you can pretty much go. And so one of the things I asked for was a full blown tour of their fucking right. Because there's been rumors for a long time about like how crazy. I'll just tell you this. If the world comes, like if shit starts like flying, go to your local Mormon temple. It is insane how ready those motherfuckers are for the end of the world. And then me and Jen have a weird connection with it. So like Jen grew up in this place in like upstate New York that, you know, there's lots of crazy, like lots of crazy stories about Jen's family being at war with the Rockefellers and the Rockefellers trying to steal her family land, right? The power players like the global Illuminati elite, like right around where Jen grew up. And then we found out, right? And then we started to look at the whole Mormon thing, and Joseph Smith comes from the exact same fucking area where all this like crazy, let's just call it like for simplicity, like Skinwalker Ranch style phenomena happen, right? Like light shooting out of the ground and fucking alien crafts and all that shit, right? Is where Joseph Smith like started Mormonism. Where he found the golden tablets and fucking started, right? And then lost them, and then rewrote them, and they were kind of similar. I don't know. South Park shreds the like Mormon origin story so good for me. It's just tough.
Yeah, that's a great episode by them.
Although I will point out that like in the South Park movie and Everybody Goes to Hell with Satan and Saddam, and they're like, what? I was a practicing Catholic and I was a practicing Lutheran. Like, what? Why am I here? And Satan's like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was the Mormons who were correct.
Yeah, right. That would suck.
You guys, let's just sit around and sing songs about how much it hurts to steal.
So how do you see this Israel-Iran thing playing out?
Man. So I want desperately to trust President Trump.
Me too.
But if there's one area that I have concern, it's that it tends to be,
Your mic.
is it my mic?
Yep, now you're good.
It tends to be that maybe he errs on the side of like being pro-Israel more than I would regularly like, right? Like I've had very important people tell me that like, you know, like he's the ultimate like Jewish president, right? He moved the embassy to Jerusalem, right? Like he's been very, very much. So there is a part of me that wants to believe that Trump will lead us out of this thing without starting the next forever war. Because that, in my opinion, is the worst case scenario.
I know.
And in order for that to happen, though, I'm struggling to see a path because, okay, this gets a little tricky for me. Jen, jump in here and talk about the fucking Shaw son for me. when I think about how to like
Okay,
remain
so
part of this.
yeah, so the Shah of Iran's son came out of nowhere the other day, honestly. Right? Like all of a sudden, Savvy and I were hosting a space, and all of a sudden a group of Iranians came in and they started being like, "Oh, our king, we want our king," and da 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 da. But we want democracy. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, something's weird here, right? And then all of a sudden, a bunch of State Department people showed up and started like telling us all about the Shah's son, how he's ready to go. Let's go, right? Within an hour, the Shah's son's video drops where he starts instructing the Iranian citizens to take to the streets. Don't worry about disobedience, because when he takes over with his intern government, like he's not going to prosecute you, kind of thing, right? Except like a couple of years ago, Dustin and I like got introduced to this guy. I can't even.
No, don't use the name.
Okay, so he had.
Barry.
Wait. Let me tell this part of the story. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So this was before we built the wall, in kind of like a gap period where we didn't really know what we were doing, and took a meeting in a New York high rise, like near the United Nations, and got ambushed. And asked, like, they put me on the phone right there with this guy named Khalifi Haftar. And Khalifi was going to Libya to like make his run, like to try to literally take Libya over. Right? And Libya has been a basically in flux since we removed Gaddafi. This job offered me $500,000 a week and $100,000 a week to pay my personally chosen security team if I would come and manage his campaign to take over Libya. And I went out, like dude, $500K a week is a lot of money.
That's 26 million a year.
That is no joke. It's I don't give a fuck if it's trying to go to Libya, right? Like, that's all you still got to consider. So I go out and I'm talking to Jen. I'm like, who is this Khalifi Haftar? And Jen, being the greatest researcher I know, immediately starts pulling shit for me. And what's crazy is that Khalifi like betrayed Gaddafi like early on, right? Then took political exile. It's believed that Americans helped smuggle him out of the country as Gaddafi, like he was like a general or something. And almost embarrassingly, like his bio said that he had spent the last 20 years living, I bet you guys could guess. Where do you think Khalifi Haftar lived 20 years before they were going to send him back over to take over Libya?
New York City?
Even worse. Langley, Virginia.
Oh, God.
Like really, you couldn't even like fucking move him over, right? Like, oh, yeah, no, I have the house like right next door to CIA headquarters.
Right?
And
Make it Baltimore or something.
Right. And at some point, you just realize, like, I'm not going over for some fucking, like, Libya, real people of Libya are not accepting some fucking CIA dude who lived in fucking Langley as their new leader. Right? Like, I'm not getting Chris Stevens. Like, fuck that shit.
So you were offered a regional warlord position.
Pretty much.
Legitimately. Like, no, yeah. That's a no joke story. Like $500,000 a week.
No, he literally came down to the car and told me this. I started reading and I looked at him and I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Absolutely not. I don't care if they're offering you $1 million, $2 million. Nope, no money.
I really was like,
you know those job placement tests that they make you take for big corporations to see what Dustin filled out someone somewhere and they're like, this guy's our warlord.
Yeah.
We got him.
If there's anyone who could fucking do it, right? Like, and I seriously like, right? Like, it would have been a fun challenge to try to like take over a country, right? Like, but right, like I'm young enough. I still have several. Like, we should take over at least 4 or 5 before we're done, right? That's
Yeah,
what I'm
we'll
thinking.
start with small nations first.
I mean, Libya would be, it'd be like jumping ahead a little. You're right. Like, we should
Yeah.
probably start with like a
It's
small island
Benghazi.
Caribbean country.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're not. No way.
It just was
No.
like, I am not fucking letting you do that. I'm like, it's all right. Like, I'll put you up in like Italy or Greece or something. It'd be fucking cool.
Absolutely fucking not, bro.
But
I can kind of picture Jen with wearing like a burqa and stuff, though.
Oh my
mean-
god, stop. No.
so somebody in the chat asked, like, why did they pick you? Well, there's several, like, I'm good at this stuff. I also, there's some things that I still can't talk about, but I will say, after the Iranian Green Revolution, I did a speaking tour where I discussed like my expertise in this like Heritage Foundation and maybe even some Council of Foreign Relations aligned think tank type things about social media and its use in uprisings like all over the world. And so I'm fairly familiar with the layout of like people in Iran. And the idea that this is something that people have been trying to sell online right now. Like, the psyops are almost like retarded level, which is like, Iran's gonna have a revolution and we're gonna get somebody who like restores a Western government and we'll go back to like back to how it was under the Shah, like before we overthrew the Shah. And what I can tell you, and this is the whole like new homeboy king who's like appeared from nowhere type deal. The problem is, if Israel comes in and blows the fucking shit out of a Muslim country, let's say they kill the Ayatollah and they kill the mullahs, do you think that the Iranian people are going to be like, let's, cool, right? Like, you've completely fucking thrown our country into utter and complete fucking chaos. And I think the only reasonable thing to do here is to find somebody who's like fucking lived in Langley, Virginia for 20 years. Like, of course not. Right? Like, if we do the whole regime change bullshit, it will not end well for us. We will be in Iran nation building for 25 fucking years. And I don't want that. More than anything, I don't want that.
When I hear U.S. government talk about regime change, what it translates to me is that we are going to own and operate that country through our intelligence agencies and military into the foreseeable future.
Yeah, basically forever.
And that's a different definition of a forever war, basically.
It's Lindsey Graham's wet fucking dream.
Mm-hmm.
And so my hope is that somehow Trump makes some kind of deal that involves like Netanyahu coming down out of Israel in exchange for like a lowering of tensions. It's hard for me to see how that path looks. I'm hopeful, but I'm not holding my breath because I see so many fucking problems. Like, our Congress is all fucking championing war. Like, outside of Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, like, I'm not seeing a ton of people speaking out against war. It's right? The fucking retard Democrats are only doing it like opposing it because Trump's for it.
Right.
Knee jerk.
Well,
But even a lot of Democrats are like on the take.
Oh, go on, Kim.
So I texted you the interview that Patrick Bet David did with the heir to the Iranian throne. His name is Reza Pahlavi. And that came out, I think it was a year
Can
ago.
you send it as a DM on X? Is it an
Yes.
X? Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, this is my problem with the whole thing, right? Is because of wokeness, right? Because of like the pussification of America.
You loser.
I was like, that is a pregnant pause.
Yeah, no, I also I didn't know if she was about where she was going.
You're back, Jen. You
Oh,
cut
I'm
out. Yeah, you
Oh,
cut out after the word America.
Never mind. Freaking Elon Starlink bullshit.
I want to. Do you guys think there's any possibility that the world is kind of being held hostage by like the Samson Accord and like the Samson option, and that Israel can just blow itself up in on itself?
Yeah, but any country that has nukes can do that.
Yeah, but it's not like we're going to kill all, like it's not written into American politics. If shit hits the fan, we're going to blow up ourselves and all our people too.
Yeah, I mean, my problem in the whole and just so you know, the Samson option is like if we're going down, we're gonna bring the whole fucking world with us, right? So like essentially, there's a Israel.
It's like a proclamation.
It's is an Israeli deterrent strategy of massive retaliation with nuclear weapons as a last resort against a country whose military has invaded or destroyed much of Israel. And so the whole thing is on like Samson and Delilah, like see how he like pushes these pillars on both sides, and then the whole entire thing caves in on all the priests and everybody essentially.
Yeah, and so right. They have this policy that like we'll nuke everybody, including us, by the way.
Where?
Right, like including
Yeah,
their allies. That word ally.
Ox crossing?
I mean, if you want to know, so since it's Thursday, I'm willing to adopt this. I actually do not believe that there will ever be a nuclear weapon used, period.
Right? Because they're not real.
No, like they're not. They were, and oddly enough, when you use them, you attract a lot of attention. Because here's the thing about what I understand about the science of like nuclear, right? It starts a chain reaction. That chain reaction, right? Like, here's a good example. If you watch Oppenheimer, there's a part in it where they're getting ready to like test the bomb, and they're like, "What?
Yeah,
we're not going to destroy everything, are we?
Like, is this going to just blow up here or keep going?
Or is it going to keep up? Because the chain reaction gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and like, you know, they thought they mathed it, but like, you know, like we may destroy everything that's ever been forever." And I think that it's no coincidence that like the rate of acceleration of our technology started right around the time we started testing nuclear weapons. Like if we're going straight Star Trek, right? What would allow like outside more advanced civilizations the justification for interfering with a civilization or species development? I think it would be two things. I think it would be nuclear, and then I think it would be nano, right? They're like either as above, so below, that like you start fucking with things at like the largest level of nuclear, or down to like just the base level shit of like nano, that like that would probably be a reasonable justification for intervention. So
Yes.
Welcome back,
Maria.
Sorry, I'm not prepared. I'm not set up with my mic or anything fancy tonight, so if it sounds like shit, just please let me.
You sound great.
Sound good.
Welcome back.
Yeah, on point.
Wow, hello, or ciao, not goodbye. Excuse me.
Like aloha, working away.
I might step off to smoke. JP, one time I'm anonymous on Instagram, and somebody reported me to the bar for smoking weed on social media.
Get the hell out of here.
Oh, I gotta take this out of so if I pop in and out, that's why.
All right, we will take note. So anyway, I think was it Andreessen who was on Joe Rogan recently, pointing out like how ridiculously fake the old nuclear test videos are. That they're so obviously like miniatures, and like the filming tech at the time, like, oh yes, we're blowing buildings away, but the cameras are able to like, right, the radiation did not screw with the film in the cameras. Like there's lots of shit that just
kind of like the old space videos where the astronauts hanging from a cable on a boom, you know.
Yeah. Or like the Chrysler building videos. Like that one's been going around again. Like, wait a second.
Well, in the whitewash of their history, it's funny that they release Oppenheimer the same time as they do Barbie. So they're even mocking you by showing you at the exact same time in history, like, we did all this with doll houses.
And wasn't Barbie, I didn't see it, so please forgive me, but like, didn't it have like a simulation vibe to it? So they were like doing a juxtaposition of like a simulation movie with nuclear weapon movie at the same time, and encouraging you to watch both like back to back.
Yeah, it was like people were sneaking in from one movie theater to the other. Like, or the parents would be like, okay, well, first we'll watch Barbie, but then you're going to watch Oppenheimer, like the boyfriends or whatever.
So I'm of the opinion that like we will never see a nuclear weapon go off ever. Right? And that
not real.
Yeah, no, it might be of I used to say, it's funny, before I really like started going crazy like 4 years ago, like I used to tell people that was the craziest thing that I believed. Like now I believe way crazier shit than that. Like, that's like level one of the like level of just fucking ridiculous shit that like I'm bought into. So I really, I'm not worried that like we're going to see nuclear holocaust and annihilation everywhere. I'm not buying it. I think now we had Eric Hecker in space with Augustus yesterday, who's the Antarctica whistleblower. Now direct energy weapons, it's a whole nother thing. Like blue exterior paint. We should just make a company that makes blue exterior paint
with lead in it.
Man, Faraday. Yeah. Now we're cooking with fire.
That's why they outlawed lead paint.
You want to talk about something interesting? I think I'm going to start Faraday caging my wallet. I renewed my license. It was expiring in October, and I can go get it and show it to you. It has a chip on it, the Tennessee license, and within the chip is my license picture inside of it. And then there's like some raised numbers. And I'll admit that I thought I was renewing my ID in February, and I accidentally got the real ID. So like the real ID I already had, and it did not contain this chip or this raised indentation, but I just renewed it and got it. And it's just like one step closer to the social credit score, like one step closer to, especially with the hack that happened today, which I no longer believe that any of the fucking hacks are real at this point. Because like, does not one benevolent hacker exist in this entire universe? You know, not one hacker that's like, you know what, let me stick it to the man and delete Maria's student loans. You get in the fucking IRS.
A Fight Club hacker.
Yes. So I think things like that AT&T leak that happened a couple weeks ago was 88 million or something like that. Today there was like a 16 billion leak. And I think that is just another step towards, we need to get your social credit score. We need to give you a new ID. We need to lock down all your information on the blockchain, blah, blah, blah.
So I call it my unholy trinity of tyranny: digital ID, social credit score, central bank digital currency, programmable currency. Where, right, like at that point we are fooked. like badly. You know, it'd be interesting though, Maria. Like, I want to X-ray your ID. So, like, I flew for the first time in a long time, and did not have the real ID, and they let me through anyway. In fact, they actually passed me through without going through the body scanner for the first time, like ever, which was kind of funny. So I got through easy, but I'm really curious about the tracking potential and on the hacks. So number one, 16 billion's like fucking everybody, right? Like if we're being real about like
access to the internet has now been hacked.
I come to think that on these hacks, that this is how they provide cover for like, oh well, Palantir, like they've had all this shit for a long time. And this is like, oh, well, now in some fucking document, we need to acknowledge possession. And now we'll just say that there was a hack and everybody had access to it.
I think what's interesting, I don't know if you guys have ever talked about this topic before. If you know me at all, I think everything is a psyop and everything's kind of scripted and controlled in a narrative wise. But we're moving towards China. And if you're familiar with China's social credit score, it's all tied into your phone number. Your phone number is like your social security number. So back in the COVID days of contact tracing and things like that, you literally scan your phone to get on the bus, scan your phone to get off of the bus, to do everything that you want to do. You are scanning that ID. And so you might wake up one day and you got some sort of notification that you had to stay home today for the next 15 days because based on all of the data that they have, they determined that you were around somebody that had been exposed. Now, what's the most interesting about the whole COVID psyop is that in March 2020, it was determined that 15 to 18 million phone numbers of the Chinese magically just disappeared. And so I was talking about it, and I would get a lot of feedback of like, maybe they turned their phones off. It's COVID. They're at home. It's Wi-Fi. They're trying to save money. And I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, this is their social security number. Like, you don't turn it on and off. So that's, I think, a narrative people don't talk about a lot is like, did old China just like call everybody up and was like, hey guys, I got a great psyop as an exercise in control. I need to get rid of these like 15 to 18 million people. And then at the same time, you cross-reference that with the crazy shit we saw at the same time, which was all those propaganda videos, people getting welded into their apartment complexes. You saw like the white men going down the street, like spraying disinfectant everywhere. I don't know. It's just interesting. We're going in that direction, and then all of those people magically disappear.
And funny enough, at the same time, then they're like, oh, all these ghost cities, we just don't worry about them. They were bad investments. We just threw up full sky rises.
Not a set, we swear. Okay.
We just threw up these full sky rises that are empty, like World's Fairs were there in the 1800s, and they're all over China.
Did you see the news that X and Elon are rolling out the financial aspects of X and the app? So, I mean, really moving forward in that everything app where you can trade and trade crypto, trade your stocks.
I thought I saw something about them doing betting today.
Yeah. So there's I can update. So Elon and X have been in the process of applying for the state by state licensing that's required in order to do trading and offer financial products. So they also announced an official partnership with Polymarket. I think that was 2 weeks ago. And this has always been my concern with Elon and X, right? Like, please don't censor me, bro, again. But, right, like the problem I have, I see the worst dystopia, like how all of this cool tech we have access to. To me, the dystopia is where we have the central bank digital currency / X payments and X money, like where we're trading on one thing. The digital ID, a la KYC, that like you're turning all your information over in order so you get your $4 a month now or whatever it is. And the social credit score, which if you dive into the Twitter code, right? They literally have a like credit. I'm trying to remember credibility score, right? Like there's several scores, and they don't elaborate what like in the code. It does not give you like the open source part of the code does not give you like how they measure what's good and what's bad. And then to tie it to the current new totally real Iranian thing, right? There's I saw somebody, I can't remember which podcast it was, blowing the whistle that the plan is to like really crack down on anybody like that we're gonna have like, you know, internal terrorists, domestic terrorists, and like they're gonna crack down again, and they're gonna use it was the Office of War Information during World War II that there's a recreation of that being brought online.
Well, wait, Dust, did you hear that earlier today the FBI came out and put out warnings that Hezbollah cells in the US are, I guess, like on high alert or something?
Yeah, that they've ramped up. They've ramped up surveillance on potential muzzy terrorism cells.
Well,
And,
and apparently Hezbollah put out a video where they were like, we will handle the Iranian conflict as we see fit.
Nice voice.
What
villain voice?
Because all of it is such propaganda that it's like they were like, hey, you know what we noticed about all those bin Laden videos? The American people kind of stopped watching them because they didn't like the voiceover. So if you could just start doing these in English, that would really hit home with the propaganda to sell this war, because that's who we're selling it to.
Yeah, no, that's target audience.
The other night, like, remember Osama bin Laden for 2 years kept putting out videos like, yo, I did not hit the towers, was not me. And then right before George Bush had to get reelected, we all of a sudden get a video of bin Laden, who now has been on dialysis for like 18 months or something, saying, oh yeah, by the way, I did that. Like, no.
Well, what and this is like the great dichotomy with Trump too, for me. Like, if I'm just being totally real about it, right? Like, I want Trump to be the hero, right? Like, I want him to like crush the bad guys and restore freedom to all of us. But it's shit like COVID and fucking Iran, where like, right? Like my concern becomes, is this the guy who was like gave us all the other stuff we wanted so that we were willing to like more? Because I see so many people who would call themselves like freedom oriented, being like, oh, fuck it, we got to surveil everybody to go find the sleeper cells. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh.
Well, I think there has been an evolution with Trump, though, from his first term to his second term, and that came through the fire of his persecution during the Biden regime. I think Trump went from being a guy that thought that the federal government could be reformed and negotiated and worked with, to now I think he's full black-pilled and knows that the government is the problem, at least run by the people who run it now. So I think there has been that evolution.
I mean, I hope you're right. Like, and I see, I could point to plenty of signs of that, but it's on the, again, it's how I put this. Trump is smart enough to always have a scapegoat, right? So like the whole COVID thing, we can all, and everybody can argue, right? Like I've had this argument 10,000 times. We could be like, oh, well, Trump talked about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Like, we're totally cool, right? But he also is the one who put fucking Fauci on TV every day, right? And I get, maybe bring him, I get the arguments. I'm not trying to have that argument. But the same argument I feel like could be here, which is I've always thought that's more likely that we're controlling Israel more than Israel is even controlling us.
Hey, Cheney, look at your Twitter messages, the last message I sent you. It's truly the Truman Show. I'm just saying.
Well, the world is run by what? Money and power, money and force, right? So if you have the money to buy what you need and you have the military might to enforce it or to threaten people with annihilation, then yeah, I mean, we're the big dogs on the block. We are the world's lone superpower. I think it's pretty clear.
I guess my worry is that like if the new forever war starts, like to me that's like a deal. Like one of the things that like I've really always been about is like Trump didn't start new wars, and like Iran is. I'm telling you, if this thing escalates, because this is what they do too. They always strip it out. Oh well, now it's just Israel bombing. Now we're bombing. Oh well, now we need to send in peacekeepers. Oh, the peacekeepers have been attacked. Now they need backup and special forces. Oh well, now they've been attacked. Now we have to send in like ground forces. And like before you know it, you fucking blink, and we're 25 years from now, I'll be like, oh well, I wish we could get out of Iran.
Well, the first night of the attacks, I mean, Secretary Rubio put out that statement, like unequivocally saying that this was Israel acting alone. We had nothing to do with it.
Don't you guys feel like we're on the hero Dawn timeline?
I hope so.
I don't believe in Dawn. I don't believe in politics. I think everyone's an actor, but I think I think the pendulum is swinging back red, and I think we're on the hero Dawn timeline.
I like that.
So I think
great title.
He crafts a New Deal. And then I think, as we all will hope, I think there's a big pivot into crypto after that. Like maybe Doge is making some sort of payment to the American people in July. And then there's been all of this rhetoric now about the Fed getting involved in crypto. So I think that probably actually happens next month. And then all of a sudden, it's like a huge rinse and repeat of all of this like fear porn that we've had. And he's hero Don because like the economy is booming. We're in a bull run. People are making like fuck tons of money. And like whatever is happening here, I don't think is real. That's just me.
You just gave me a tickle. You just like so your prediction or there's a theory that
you just gave me a tickle.
I felt I was like I feel the anointing when you were talking right there that the Doge refund payments may be in a form of crypto, and that is the mass onboarding
of both the government getting involved in crypto, but also you getting your social credit score number. You know,
also you getting your PayPal.
Yeah, there's always a double side to that, right?
Because the trick is everything they want, like they do everything to us. They listen to us. They violate the Fourth Amendment. We have really no rights whatsoever. But it's always the trick is getting us to voluntarily acquiesce into these things. So for the entirety of existence, they monitored everything that we've said on every medium in every way. And then they orchestrate 9/11. And then you thought you were a patriot. I literally remember people saying back in the day, the government can listen to my phone calls. You know what I mean? Like they can read my emails. Like I ain't no fucking terrorist. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing to hide. And it was this whole, they took the idea of being a patriot and they circumvented the 4th and 14th Amendments and made you give away part of your rights. And you felt like an American for that.
I like how you went redneck there for a minute.
I'm from East Tennessee, so I can.
It's right there.
She's Southern. She's Southern.
But so this
she had a cotillion.
No, I wasn't. I was too redneck for cotillion. That was the other side of town. The trick is about getting you to agree. So all of the conservatives in the last 30 days who have sucked Palantir's dick after Trump came out are acquiescing into the very system in the exact ways that they want. And now if you hear you're going to get thousands of dollars from the government, if you sign up for their little funny number, it's just us that will object.
It's just your social security number on digital. What are you worried about?
This is good. Your social security number is no longer safe after the 16 billion of them that just got released.
Well, I would just debate that during Trump's first term, this was when they were going to walk out our digital IDs and we were going to get a credit card from the government to get all those bailouts. But instead, Trump sent out checks and they all had his signature on it. And everybody called him an egomaniac because he just wanted to sign his name on that check. But really, it was the one thing standing in the way of our digital ID that was going to be part of our lockdown travel COVID ID. And Trump didn't allow that to happen. So
I've always thought that
in
the
my
rollout,
debate for the great Donald Trump.
I've
Your
always
Honor.
thought that the rollout would come in phases, right? So phase one are the people who are dependent on government to survive. People on Social Security, people on welfare, people on food stamps, right? And to be honest, they already get fucking cards, right? Like, and to be honest, they're not thinking about like, oh my God, I need, like, they just literally want Big Daddy government to like keep them as comfortable as possible. Right. So the phase one is like converting them into the new system is not hard.
Child support is on cards now.
Actually, don't even get me started. No, so I've been paying my child support in fucking Bitcoin for a while. And my fucking ex went to the tax people and they're like, oh, well, if it pays in Bitcoin, you have to pay taxes on it. I was like,
What?
Yeah, no.
So wait, you were direct paying?
What?
Direct paying with crypto? Probably.
Yeah, well, no, it's just I was sending her fucking the monthly fucking shit in Bitcoin.
Because when she converts it to USD, she's gonna face a tax, and that's why they're gonna make you do that.
Yeah, so I ended up with a fucking extra fucking bill to fucking pay the fucking taxes.
Her fees in between, her
right?
gas.
So everybody else gets to pay their child support and fucking cookies and fuck whatever the fuck else they want. But, oh, it doesn't use Bitcoin. Yes, fuck cost more
Well,
money.
that wasn't the point. You were talking about the rollout in phases, and that's the rollout of it, though. You know what I mean? Getting people used to it.
Right, and so, but that's phase one, right? Phase two would be like government employees and contractors and other stuff. And really the last people that I think are the holdouts are like us, like Bitcoin privacy retards, right? Who have kind of created our own ecosystem in a lot of ways. And I think for us though, what it'll be is it'll be carrots. Like, oh, declare your Bitcoin. And like, right, like just if you declare it, like maybe you get a little bonus. And then comes the stick, which is, but if you don't declare it by this date, like, you know, there's penalties involved.
I could see the AQ timeline. They just commented, like, when in my hypothetical where everything is booming, imagine Trump sends you money via Doge, you accept it, and then he says no tax on crypto. That's what I think.
I think that's part of the big beautiful bill, actually. Isn't there some crypto thing in there with the taxes?
I'm not sure.
Not as declared, but Thailand just passed a 5-year no tax on crypto. I think you're on to something, Maria, which is like I could totally see. Listen, what have I been saying on like the crypto side of the podcast forever? Right, which right now, the only money who's fucking buying up shit is who? BlackRock and fucking State Street, right? Like right now, it's institutional money that is fueling the current rise. And part of the reason that like our fucking retard meme coins aren't going yet is because like it's not COVID where people were locked in their house and had some government stimmy money to like gamble around. Like now imagine if Trump sent a couple grand out to everybody in the country via crypto through maybe, I don't know, let's call it a Trump wallet, if you will. And I'm sure that there's no evidence of them building such a mechanism. Maybe even a phone to have it on.
I'm about to say, yeah, get your new, speaking of surveillance,
but in ways
into the new government surveillance plan.
Don't you see all of this, including True Social, as a direct, like if we know X is the everything app, Elon has not been at all like trying to hide that. Isn't True Social, hasn't it always been the thorn in the side to X? They tried to lure Trump back onto X and try to get him to shut down True Social, but Truth keeps throwing more money at their platform, so you always have another option, and we're not locked onto the everything app.
And I will say that like, I actually don't use it because it was. So
I don't use it at all. I just think as long as it's there, we're not trapped on the pay Palantir system. But as long as there is an option.
But listen, if Trump sent everybody like, let's actually make it even a big number. Let's say like 10 grand, right? Like you have to adopt the wallet, but there's 10 grand in stables. And then because he's so benevolent, he's going to take some of that 80% of the Trump token and also maybe give you a little airdroppy drop. right? Like maybe there's some other tokens that will be airdropped to you as they get rolled out. Can you imagine like how crazy it's about like it would get over the course of like the next few? Like we watched some of our fucking shit coins run to unfound. Money'd be flowing around again like crazy. We'd all be happy, and we'd be, especially because first they have to scare us, right? So like, oh my God, we're going to war, right? Like fucking the next forever war. George Bush is back, and then you go from that to being like, actually things are good, and Trump negotiated a deal, and like we're in. That puts us in a very like willing to accept fucking anything type mood, in my opinion. I see the like psyop
The market is up and the economy is up. We're happy with anything. You know what I mean? Give us a new social credit score number because we don't fucking care.
Right. Just don't take me back to fucking where it was.
Bomb whatever you want in the fall. We don't care. We're making it rain. Somebody is screaming.
I know. JV needs to mute when he's not on.
I have 4 kids, and there's a
Mute.
there's a sleepover friend here tonight. It's crazy.
It is
I
a
got
whole
dog.
fun.
One of my dogs got out last night. He hasn't come back yet. So my wife just got a tip that he was spotted down the street. So it's like we're on this hunt for Gunner. His name's Gunner. He's a chocolate lab. It's just the chaos. It's
Labs go on
My
tour.
apologies.
They make other families and they get called whole different names, and they don't miss you at all when they're gone. They play in pools, they drink beer, they have friends. Like this is a normal thing that happens to friends of mine with black labs, where they're like, "Oh, we were missing our dog 2 weeks. Look at all these pictures of him living his best life."
Where is he? I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. There he is.
Aww.
It's cat. Sad cat.
Gunza. Come home, Gunner.
So, I mean, the man.
Trump's an egomaniac. Why would he paint himself into a corner on his base? No.
What corner? What do you mean?
I also
like,
think.
Why would you open this? Like, I'm sorry, Trini, go ahead.
Oh, I think a lot too of Trump is still the mainstream media's narrative, even no matter whose voice it's coming through, unless it comes out of Trump's mouth. Like, look at how much the news has tried to egg on this entire war. It doesn't matter the side. They've all tried to egg it on. And then I keep reminding it, like, you guys, we're conspiracy theorists. We know 3 companies own all the media. So why are we believing State Street and, BlackRock and Vanguard for their narrative of the obvious war the same 3 companies want to push? So it's just like, and then Trump comes out with a whole different tweet that is, and everyone's like, we're minutes away from World War III. Look at this. Every single person on X is playing right into it because they download an app where they can fag planes all of a sudden. And they're like, alert, a military plane's flying. Alert, breaking, World War III narrative. So it's like they're, as much as they all pretend they're anti-war, I never seen such bloodthirsty people in my whole life as the whole entire X community. I don't care your side. And it's just like they're running spaces. Oh, we just got this in from somebody who's really just like me watching CNN. No different than anybody else. You guys, this is breaking. Breaking.
But here's why like the new system is so insidious, right? Whereas before, at least with the Main Street, like the old media, we could be like, you know what, Tucker Carl or Anderson Cooper's full of shit, right? Fucking, you can't believe anything on CNN or Fox News, right? But the problem now is all they have to do is start it, and then because people are dependent on the dopamine releases from engagement, is tweak what fucking like, oh, if I say this, all of a sudden my space has an extra 700 people in it.
And make more money doing it too.
Yep.
At least 3 people, intelligent, smart people that I love their brain, love their spaces, love their shit. I just wrote in their thing like, hey, see the watermark on the corner? Because I've been messing around with so much AI video, I know what AI video looks like. It's like you train your brain to see it. And so the amount of them that were just sharing wrong shit, or the same over and over stuff that you put it in and Grok's like, this is from 2017 Syria. And then there was a rocket that blew up in our country. Another thing, you guys, it's like your company needs to convince somebody that they need all this money and then some, so you get new office chairs at the end of the year. This is them blowing up these weapons. They have to blow them up so they can make more. And so some of this going back and forth is just fireworks because they want more money to make higher grade weapons. It's the same as people arguing boots on the ground. In a war of drones, boots aren't on the ground. There's different weaponry that's used. So certain things that are just like caveats and like I just feel like we're watching our money being spent. Like end of the year, the American people tax dollars, let's blow up some rockets so we can get more of them. It just seems crazy, like crazy narratives over and over again.
Well, I mean, again, your point is very well. I see a lot of people that like normally I think are very smart saying a bunch of shit right now that seems absolutely fucking retarded to me. Right? Like, and vicious and bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
And my problem with it is, again, I think it's going to get harder because you could not convince these people that they're being manipulated. Right? That because of the system that we're all addicted to, right? That like they think that these are original fucking right. It's like we pitched somebody on something recently, and then I was in a meeting with somebody else who's like very wealthy talking about the thing that we've been putting together. And like the guy I pitched originally was like had fully adopted that it was his idea originally to do this entirely new concept that we were doing, right? Like, dude, but think about how much harder it is when the ops aren't even getting paid, right? They're getting paid in like likes and extra attention from fucking bots, right?
I saw a tweet that said, "This state has done something remarkable. It has successfully convinced the people to hate each other as much as the state hates them." And like that two-party system just like perpetuates itself in so many different ways. And people just want to be right. And it's this new wave of, I've been talking about for a while that like, I think there's a reason why conspiracy has gone mainstream. And if you weren't in the trenches of like reading Q posts as they got published back in the day, you don't really know how to research anything. And now you have AI and Grok to like literally regurgitate like anything. Like nobody has an ounce of like comprehension anymore. Or
and that's good. So it was funny today because like I think Cheney and I think it was Cheney and JP. We added new person to one of the work groups we're in, and he fucking dropped like a Grok like copy paste, and like they're like, "Oh, Dustin will yell,
Don't
like,
do it!
It is not fucking allowed here."
Dustin doesn't like that, bro.
Right, but the listen. My example is we gave up our ability to like navigate like to GPS. Like most people could not find their way around at all, even though our highway, like, right, there's actually a really simple, like, kind of cool fucking grid system, like, that was put in. Like, if you want to, like, navigate through the country, it's like actually, like, most people don't realize that, like, oh, well, you have the 10 and then the 20 and then the 30 and the right, and they cross all. But now people just are like, depending on GPS, we gave up our ability to like figure out and know where we were going, like even in our regular lives. What happens when we turn critical thinking over to fucking the machine? Well, like that's going to atrophy.
Or lawyering. How dare you replace the lawyers, the human lawyers?
They're never going to replace us. You know that.
You're stuck with it.
Oh no. JP said, I was like, hey, I got a legal question.
I am a GPT.
He sent me a fucking like 8,000 word chat GPT fucking response. I was like, the fuck is this? Actually, I think that was my exact response.
What the fuck was this? And then you waited a minute and sent a second email that said this was the opposite of helpful.
But I generally, I'm worried about how dumb like people are about to become because like Chat GPT just fills in the blanks for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, my brain no longer needs to like know how to think it all.
You know, you mentioned the direction a minute ago, directions with the GPS and everything. I was riding around with my son the other day. This is just a proud dad moment I'm going to share. And my son was telling me, he's 9 years old, and he's telling me where something is. And I said, oh, yeah, where's that? And we're driving around, right? We're on a road. There's woods. And he points in the correct direction of the place. And he says, that way, to the east. Dude, like I fought back a tear in my eye, like driving down the road. So that was a proud dad moment. Thought I'd just share that.
No, think about the other thing that blows me away are like these people who are like how much time they're spending talking to large language models like they're real.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's funny every time I do a space where I'm like AI is devil or like demons are AI. Well, do people come in like get mad? How dare you talk about my friend like that? Bro, it's literally just a fucking predictive language model. Like it even though it tries to convey, like it recognizes that you want it to like have human characteristics, like it does not have a soul and human characteristics. Like it literally is picking up like through our language, like how you relay it back and like judging what your reaction. It is not like we've not created like fucking the singularity in ChatGPT yet, even though like for a lot of people it feels like it. I heard somebody describe it this way that I thought was really like powerful. So like at the bottom level, you have like the people who get the prompts from ChatGPT are like, oh my God, that is the fucking smartest thing I've ever heard. Those people are about to be wholly enveloped into the fucking system, right? Like we got you motherfuckers, right? Then the middle tier are the people who are like, they get it, they realize that like there's some value to it, and like fucking right, like start using it kind of. And then the top tier are like the crazy motherfuckers who are like, how dare you fucking send me this shit? God, I hope I didn't just break my phone. Why do sometimes for dramatics I like fucking throw stuff. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, I think the biggest data
Maybe
point.
get you some teddy bears or something.
The biggest thing AI creators want to master is the ability to predict human behavior. That's the ultimate goal of all of it. And look at the evolution of AI based shopping, Amazon and stuff. Like you'll get reminders now that it's time to buy something. You'll get in a car. I'll get in a car from a location that I frequently travel, and it will automatically pull up, would you like guidance home? It's knowing that I'm going from that place to home. It's knowing that it's time to buy milk and eggs. And now you're at the point where AI is, it's like, tell me I need it before I even know I need it. That's where it's going to, along with predicting our behavior.
I think that's where it already is in some aspects. I had a follower once that DM'd me and told me that they couldn't disclose a great deal of information, but the healthcare company that they worked for, the artificial intelligence was so advanced that like when your doctor was sending you reminders for certain things, it was because they knew based on like all the data that you've proffered to it that like you're likely to get X, Y, and Z, and they're trying to like push you in a certain direction to prevent it. Now, obviously, this could all be bullshit and propaganda. There's a June bug in here. Sorry, guys. But it was essentially saying that they know when you're going to get sick, and when you get correspondence from them out of the blue, it's because they're predicting that like something's wrong with you. Also, I think it's interesting all the people that are wearing these like data watch type things or the aura rings. I think that's really interesting. And people, the like aura ring will tell them sometimes that like something's wrong with you, and so it knows that they're sick before they're sick. And people are like, oh, my aura ring was going crazy for 2 months and I went in and I had breast cancer. Just To imagine something's monitoring you like that on your body all the time is
So I saw,
Mm.
I think it was Scoble shared this out, right? Is it either Scoble or Dittman shared this thing out? This AI company, right, learned the lesson of Tesla and was like, you know what? Tesla has a huge head start because they used every Tesla to collect all of their information and map everything, right? And so they will send you for free some, right? Like if you will wear the AI goggles that monitor everything so that they can like basically do that at an even more granular level, they're sending out like $25 million worth of free AI glasses to everybody.
Think about Pokemon Go.
Mm.
I mean, they like
I
back
love
to what I
that.
was saying before about us acquiescing into things. Like they
Yeah.
literally got an entire millions of people to map out the entire country.
I didn't
I
let it
have
on my
been
phone.
laughing about this for weeks, right? Because people were going into government buildings. Because remember, Dust, when we were in DC that one time, our friend's son, I was playing Pokemon Go with him on Capitol Hill, right? And I was like, and then I started thinking, I was like, wait a second, like they're getting pictures that they would have to like send spies in otherwise. So like, ooh,
Yep.
this ain't good.
But it creates the same problem as the fucking vaccinated do, right? So like my thing is I am like almost retarded level out. Like I do my best to not register anything or like fucking make any imprint anywhere. And it really doesn't fucking matter, right? Like the problem is you don't need that, relatively speaking, right? Like if half of the people around you are fucking recording everything and fucking completely monitored, right? You're trapped. Like it's not like you are fucking, you have the ability to opt out. There is no opt out.
Okay, I have a really interesting topic, and I'm a lazy ass on my own podcast, so I'll introduce it to you guys right now, but I'm still workshopping it. Do you ever scroll on TikTok and you see the videos where a group of people see like a bachelor party or a bachelorette party and they observe the bride or the groom cheating, and then they share that and they're like, hey, I need to make Brad, your wife is, if you're named Brad and your wife is in Vegas on her bachelorette party, blah, 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 she's cheating on you.
Oh my God, Maria. Yes,
And a
girl.
great deal of the time, the people are found. And so I watched this video the other day of this creator who saw something, created a video, posted the video, got millions of views. The man found out about it and he contacted her and she took it down. But she was talking about like kind of her own, it's not really an ethical dilemma, but she didn't want to take the video down because of like the likes and the notoriety that she was receiving. And it made me think of the idea of panopticism and this idea that you're being surveilled all the time, that's created in a prison, that's created now by the government. But like we used to worry that we were being surveilled by the state when 9/11 happened and thereafter. And now we have turned the NPCs and the masses into our own surveillance state. And it's so interesting. Like there's that one tweet that came out around COVID that was like, after all of this, I know who would turn me in and like Nazi Germany, blah, 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 bullshit.
Can I add to it? Like we were talking in this conversation of this is, you know how we are kind of like snitches get stitches over the years, and like kind of over a while, like a lot of people just agreed, like just because you're a cop does not mean you're a good person. And then somewhere it started to switch. Well, what they've done cleverly is this psyop of you are the media now. So I'm not turning you in, I'm just filming you. And so now we're turning on ourselves, becoming the prison guards on each other, constantly surveilling each other, like in that thing. So like, you're the news now, you're the news now, you're the news now. It's like been pressed upon you from every single way. So now you're the Gestapo now.
What? And the reward system right? Like that's the
exactly what you were saying. You're now being rewarded for being the surveillance state.
right. And what do you want to bet though? That if you go and you're recording some government official, it doesn't get the same virality, right? Like I don't even have we don't even have a TV, and so the Karen Reed stuff, there's like several mostly middle-aged ladies who are super fucking into it, right? Like crazy, and I don't even know what it's about at all, right? But apparently they're, and it got me to thinking about how you could find 1,000 cases that probably match that general description, right? Like
Not really.
So it goes way deeper. It would be like, oh, if your name's Brad and you live in Nashville, Tennessee, and you have a girlfriend named Daisy, she's cheating on you, and here's the story about what happened.
But what I'm saying about the Karen Reed thing, right? Which is go to any courtroom in any fucking redneck community, and fucking Maria's probably got 100 of them near, right? Like all of us do. You could find really crazy, salacious shit that if fucking CNN reported on it every day and everybody got emotionally invested in the characters, right? It would be the fucking story.
Yeah, I mean, murder is sexy though, so it had, government cover up and potential FBI involvement. I mean, it's another salacious story that is a psyop in and of itself to distract.
But what I'm saying though is, what makes them pick out and elevate that particular story? And to be honest, it's not like I know, because I don't even know the details, right? I just know that basically there's always once every 3 or 4 months, there's some case that gets chosen to be the case that all of the true crime people, right? That's the big thing that everybody's fucking into. With these other stories, right? If you go, I bet you if you go record Eric Swalwell, for blowing some pool boy, probably, right? It probably won't have the same level of impact.
Nice example.
I thought that was good. Or
I think
Antonio Brown says that he's been sleeping with Gavin Newsom's wife and they accuse him of murder, and now he's on the run.
Well, I think to a certain extent, though, stories reach a critical mass. At some point, a story reaches that level where it permeates and it becomes viral, as we say, and then everybody's glomming onto it.
I think that's more easy to manipulate than people realize.
100.
Right. And so, right. What's interesting is when Maria says, oh, right. The bachelorette party, Jen's like, oh, fuck yeah. I've seen those videos. Right. It's clearly something that they're very, that goes off.
It's like top 40 music.
Right.
They're very
no such
viral
thing.
to they're targeting it to her and I because we're similar demographics.
Yeah.
I think that we would find that interesting, especially I'm not married, but a married person seeing, this happening, you might find that salacious and interesting. My thing is just the idea of having to curb your behavior. God is part of the idea of panopticism. The surveillance state is the idea of panopticism. And now you have the person, and it contributes into that social credit score thing of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Black Mirror episode Nosedive, where everything gets rated. Every interaction that you have, you enter, you rate somebody. So if Dustin and I were talking, when we would leave, we would give each other a 4 or 5 star rating. And so now you're curbing your behavior in public for fear that you may be recorded. What if I'm just a piece of shit and I like to cheat on my husband? You know what I mean? But now I'm going to get blasted by the masses for it because they're going to get some coins from the internet gods to
right, to snitch you out.
Yeah.
Right. No, or right, imagine you're in a situation where
Can we buy stones for the town square, the digital town square, so we can all throw them at you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. or there's one of those unspoken agreements, right? That's but now it's on blast on the internet, so it has to be a big deal, right? the second and third and fourth order effects of all this shit too. Like it's fucking crazy. And that's why I think the behavioral modification piece, like I wish I heard that, like people use that more when we talk about all this shit, because most of it is designed to modify our behavior in some way or the other.
Yeah.
And it starts to get creepy around this war stuff because, like, I think you're right. Like, people feel like they're doing something patriotic to be like, oh, I'm keeping an eye out on these motherfuckers.
How about that ICE snitch line that the White House posted? That was fun.
Wait, they did?
Yeah. The DHS.
So
They posted a meme.
Oh God. So right, my problem with that is
Real quick, shout out to the 1,000 people that are watching wherever you're taking this in right now. Hit the thumbs up, the like, subscribe, the bells, and make sure you follow everyone on stage. And Tinfoil and Tokens is live every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Go on.
And I'm really enjoying the comments. There's just I'm watching them as they come in. They're hilarious. Vinny, shout out to Vinny, leaving some bangers in there. Thanks.
I'm looking forward to Vinny getting his remodeling done so he can join us on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess my thought, like, the problem with like the snitch line is that if you fucking open a line to like report illegals, it's literally just fucking a bunch of like bored people calling in every Mexican they see, right? Like every, right? Like,
yeah.
The information's got to be fucking worse than useless. In fact, I'll put it like I put like when JP sent me a bunch of chat GP, it's the opposite of helpful.
Unless you have AI that can filter it and determine based on the number and the person with their credibility score whether or not it's good information.
Oh, you're a level 10 snitch.
Yes.
We
gotta go with here.
My problem with the snitching of it all, and I guess the idea of like the opposition to immigration in general, like obviously let's like take the idea of all the criminals, okay, and all the people in that general aspect, just the people that are coming here for like a quote unquote better life. Like, what's the general opposition? People are mad that they are taking benefits from the government, that they're taking our tax dollars, and that they're not paying taxes. Don't we not want to pay taxes?
That's not my core disagreement with it, Maria. Honestly,
I guess I have I want you to come here, do it the proper way, make it more streamlined than it is right now. But the idea that the government is fucking snatching people off the street without notice or hearing or any sort of due process, even if I'm not here legally, I think enemy combatants have a little bit more rights in that respect. And then you have the authority to send me off to a different country. Like, we might not see it in our lifetime, but like this is a snowball effect to
I'm going to push back on the no due process, though. What Trump is doing is basically just enforcing the laws that are on the books, the laws that the Biden administration chose to completely ignore when they imported in an entire nation of voters. And my big problem with what happened is that a political party in power, which controls 90% of the bureaucracy, decided to abuse the immigration system to give themselves more political power, to pad the census, to pad their votes, to pad them, it was a political move at the expense of the native citizens. That's my problem with it. I see abuse of power, but if I see what you're saying too. There's the benefits that are taken here in my home state of New Jersey. It's 1 in 10 people now. A recent study showed 1 in 10 people is now an illegal immigrant. A recent audit of the state budget showed that 15% of the budget is going to illegal immigrants. So there is definitely a financial component. I just hate the Democrats so much for trying to get as much power and make this a one-party country. That's where I draw the line.
Well, so I said it like this when the protest started, because I'm very much like you, Maria. I do not believe that the government, like you will never find me as somebody who wants to go to the government to like tell them anything. Like my whole goal is to be as far off the radar as like not to get sucked, because it never ends well for me because I'm a retard. Like I didn't like I can't romanticize this idea that like, oh, I'm an outlaw, but like no, the system just rejects me for being too fucking weird, right? But like with the LA protests, I saw some stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, for this, we're going to feel like this new playbook and these new tactics are justified because fuck those right Antifa clowns and their fucking illegals. But that playbook and those tactics like will be used in less like in areas that we don't feel is justified at some point, probably pretty soon. And so it's tricky, right? Like I don't understand like what the ID, like when they're deporting people, what the ID process is, how they verify citizenship or not. Like I have no fucking clue. I don't think we're deporting citizens. Like, the cases that they've tried to say that a citizen got deported has not turned out well for the liberals and the left, but I agree there's got to be concern about what that looks like, which maybe is why they flooded the zone with having the borders open as it's been.
I think it's a kind of like a 9/11 flag where that was parlayed into the Patriot Act. Yeah, you know, you flood the country with a bunch of people and that it's going to cause chaos. That's your next catalyst for a higher level of surveillance and intrusion.
Do you think a lot more of us were supposed to be dead from the super plague? And so there was going to be, the numbers were going to be a lot different than they kind of are right now, because a lot more people were supposed to get mRNA COVID vaccines. And then this was supposed to be an infiltration. Another thing I would say over and over again in every great reset they do to us is they have to have these orphan trains. They have to do an East Indian trading company. They always have to have something that they're taking people where their blood, sweat, and tears are, where their family's family was, and moving them to another land, because there is an energy about where you're born, wherever that is, and the place where your grandfather was born, and the place where, and if you're one of those people that's been in a place where your parents were there, usually it's a conservative place because those people have invested in that place. If you're in a transient town where, you know, maybe you were born there, but your parents both moved there from a whatever, no one gives a shit because they don't own anything there. There's no blood, sweat, or tears there. And so on a big scale in this orphan trains idea over and over again, what we're seeing in real time is just a great reset, a rewrite of history, but it was supposed to look a lot different. That's what I think.
To your point on COVID, I think that absolutely they didn't get, like, if at a minimum it was a test to see like how compliant people were, right? Like how far, like we're going to inject you with something that no one will tell you about, and like, but you totally have to do it or grandma's going to die.
I mean, will you stay home in your house just because we told you to?
Right. Like how, and as far as your point, like they wanted more. I remember how crazy they got trying to ramp up the language, right? Like I always made the joke about Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand as like my favorite example, because like she got batshit crazy about it. Like, you will take it. Joe Biden, that fucking winter of death for the unvaccinated, right? Like just remember how like more coercive they got, like as it went, because they weren't meeting their numbers. Seriously, it felt like you were a sales dude, like at a store, like, oh, and you weren't at your sales numbers. So like you really ramp up how aggressive your sales pitches to people. Like we were in Sam's Club the other day, and like they had like that, you could see that the lady had the board for new credit card signups, and like, dude, the little fucking Asian cashier lady, like we had to tell her no like 4 times. Like, we don't want you, like we're not filling out your stupid credit card application. dude, that was like the whole world to try to like get the number up. And I actually think like maybe even as much as like 30% really did. I would say there's like maybe 10% of us who never got tested or vaccinated, right? So like literally you're not shoving anything up my fucking nose cavity and poking on my brain. Like, go fuck yourself.
I never wore a
Yeah.
mask. Not that it
Yeah.
did me any good in the grand scheme of things.
I honestly think it was all about the election, Dustin. That's my most recent feel on it. I think that it was released in conjunction with people in power in the United States government. I think there's a reason the CIA was involved, that Fauci was going over to Langley, and I think it was all about the election. And I almost like there was a balancing of, we need it just bad enough so that it scares people to let us do mail-in votes and things, but not so bad that it kills half our population. That's my suspicion.
I think that was part of it, but I also, right, I actually think that's more of a side benefit maybe for why they did it when they did, but it's more about like the general topic we've been talking about, which is the rollout and adoption of the new digital surveillance state and system.
How much do you trust your government? You know, like how quickly can we scare you into submission? How much
Less than you trust that June bug.
Yeah, how many more rights are you willing to give away for the idea that leaving your house could harm you? You know? I just feel like they're pushing, you know? What will we do? What will we see? Like, what can we test next?
Right. How much can we get away with?
This was a huge Chinese thing, and they were just like, hey, everybody, like, do whatever the fuck you want with all this. We just got to kill like 18 million people real quick, okay?
And here's your free money to put into meme coins.
Right. Here's the
tattoos.
Tattoos.
Yeah, here's free tattoo money, kids.
That's fine. I did get tattoos.
I didn't.
I
get
still don't
any
have
free
one.
money.
I still don't have one tattoo. I have virgin skin.
Wait, no. I think I got fucking the Suicide King.
Nice.
The Queen of Hearts.
I like them.
Yeah, I'm still going to heaven, so enjoy your tattoos. Thank you.
That's some deep Catholic shit right there.
I'm not even Catholic though.
What's funny is knowing you, I love how the heaven you've been sold to go to is going to be so fucking boring for you. Right? Like, oh, let's all sit around and sing songs about how much it hurts to steal.
It's what heaven for the climate and hell for the company.
But I don't know. I also the population shit's been right. Like that's another one I've been like really heavily thinking about. That like it just doesn't add up. The numbers, like all the way across the board.
Vinny,
dude, they would.
I mean, I'll take it. Jesus was a Jew. Thank you.
I don't have any tattoos, and I'm not a Jew. You just don't put bumper stickers on a Bentley, okay? So, like, come on.
That's what I'm talking about. Jen knows the deal.
How dare you call JP a Bentley?
I was also referring to myself. I don't know about JP, why he did get tattoos. So maybe it's completely different.
I also
Do you think
love that
tattoos
JP
were a
thinks
psyop?
he doesn't have any tattoos, but doesn't remember that one night in Vegas. So
better check my ass.
Right, there's certain places that you won't even notice. But
Okay, the fact that Austin Powers, or is it Dr. Evil? Somebody has Diddy tattooed on their ass, and now it's just way funny.
Oh my god!
Wait, what? Like Mike Myers?
No, so
yeah,
in the
Andy
movie
has
Austin Powers. Who was it, Cheney? Do you remember? Was it? I think it was
Fred
Dr.
Savage?
Evil. No, I think it was Dr. Evil, who in the scene they pull his pants down and he has Diddy tattooed on his ass.
What?
Yeah.
Holy
That's gotta be a
shit!
lie.
No, it's real. I just forget the character.
Dude, we need to go collect so everybody go to your pawn shop and buy the VHS tapes. Like
Maria, you're muted, Maria.
His ass, I'm sorry, I was talking the whole fucking time. His ass says E Diddy. as like an homage to P. Diddy being Dr. Evil.
Close enough. Close
Yep.
enough.
What character is it?
Dr. Evil.
Oh, okay.
But he
That's
spells it
hilarious.
Diddie.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't.
I'm going to be honest. Vinny, I was thinking the same thing when he was like, I don't, because I'm going to go to heaven. I was just like, oh, I didn't know JP was a Jew. That's really the exact thing that went through my head.
Yeah, so JP,
So shout out
to
to
Vinny's question, when did Mossad recruit you to come infiltrate our group of patriots?
Oh, a long time ago, my friends. A long time ago. That's a separate story. I mean, I was going to tell you guys on the last podcast about how my parents have worked as missionaries, and they've gone all around the world. They've been to hundreds of locations around the world. And for a long time, they were doing these visits with the coordination of the State Department and a United States senator, because they would kind of help them lay the groundwork and grease the skids for them when they arrive and things like that. And my parents told me that in the contingency that they would go with, there were always some strange, shadowy cats that they wouldn't see for the rest of the trip, but they were going with the missionaries and stuff. I'm just dropping that in here now, but that was always.
Is that a real story? You're not making a joke on the joke?
I'm not making a joke on the Jew. CIA infiltrated evangelicals going around and preaching the word.
Dude, I told the
Of course,
Khalifi
it's the lawyer who's a Jew.
I told the Khalifi Haftar story tonight. Like fucking right. Like at some point that's gonna people will be like, oh, who's this motherfucker? Yeah, what? So you haven't been approached by a Middle East warlord who wants to take a country over? I mean, come on.
Not yet.
I think I mean we had some meetings in Nashville. I remember that were interesting.
That's probably really what it was. That's where your USAID money was about to go.
No, that's why the Democrat Party's broke. Like, well,
Hilarious.
David Hogg is too masculine, and USAID money gets cut off, and now all of a sudden they don't have any money. They're literally like fucking. They don't have enough money to cover.
Act Blue is shut down. The laundromat in Ukraine is done. Like it's you can't make it up.
Wow. So I think we're about at that 2-hour mark. Pretty excited about the meeting tomorrow. We might take the show up a couple of notches, depending on how that goes. So excited to see potential partnerships, like to bring this to the next level. I haven't really been aping into too much shit. Like Trent, right? It seems like a good time to be kind of sitting on the sideline. Trump, send everybody the stimmy money, and I will be back in the game, though, bro.
I'm still very bullish, Dustin. Look at this week. Look at the bearish signals that we have persevered over the past 4 or 5 days. We've had Jerome Powell say rates are going to stay the same. We've had the threat of nuclear World War III, and yet the charts are staying firm. Bitcoin's at 104.5. It only dropped a little bit. Sol's really, I think it's pretty bullish. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, a little stimmy, and we'd be right back on top.
Yeah.
Real quick, something weird. Jen sent me this. And Jen, what is this? Like it fell out of the sky.
Randomly fell from the sky in Indiana, and no one knows where it came from.
That looks like one of the lights from the Truman Show, don't you think?
That's exactly what I said it was.
Wait, what's inside of it?
I don't know if we know yet.
That's it. That's what we know. That
How
picture.
the fuck do you post that? Like, there's little openings right there at the little fucking hatch thing. Like, how do you not put a flashlight and fucking give me more pictures? Like, whoever captured this picture, you're fucking fired. Turning you in.
So, yeah, it is so Truman Show.
By the way, that Matt Gaetz answer has
Dustin really asked him because he did. He was like, "Hey, look." He was like, "I want no onus to this question."
There's no way that's real. Oh, it's real. Yeah, no, I really did. Like, no, fuck away. Why? So, all right. next Monday. Tinfoil and tokens. Good to see everybody. Maria, it was great to see you. Hope you've been well. I hope you're feeling better.
Thanks.
Great
for
to see you,
having me.
Maria.
Cheney, Jen. Where'd OG go? He fell asleep.
He's probably running a TG and aping a shitter right now.
Yeah, that's probably true. But let's find some runners. Let's go. All right. Cheers. We out.
Later.
I hope you got your hat tenfold. You know we got your back tenfold. We keep our eyes on the streets tenfold, and our ears to these beats tenfold. Hat, conspiracy strap tenfold. Hat, tenfold, hat, tenfold. Hat, tenfold, hat. Bet you listen well, I could tell you not about it. Back up in my bag so I can say the evil coming out. Exorcise the demon, make it go up in the heads of the congressmen committing treason. Take a look at scientists, lying for no fucking reason. Now they got me looking, swear